Long ago, before cell phone, before car, before electric lights ever reached the red soil of Esum, there was a village cradled by hills that whispered and a river that sang. Esum was small, but its heart was vast. And in that heart lived a boy named Kwaku. Kwaku had no mother, no father. He was raised by the village, but he grew up in silence. Not because he couldn't speak, but because he chose not to. Some said a spirit had sealed his tongue. Others whispered that he had been born under a star that sang instead of spoke. But one thing was certain. Kwaku listened. He listened better than any elder. He heard the way the wind grumbled before it rained. He heard the sorrow in the old baobab tree. And he heard stories in silence. One day, Chief Bako stood before the people. His voice boomed like thunder. The great harvest festival is near. Let Esum send its best. Dancers, singers, and most importantly, a drummer. But heads dropped. Esum had lost its sacred drum, Abɛn Nyeɛ, many seasons ago. It had vanished into the forbidden forest after a hunter tried to sell it. And without it, Esum could not sing to the gods. That night under the new moon, Kwaku disappeared. No one saw him leave. But if they had followed the wind, they might have heard the soft notes of a wooden flute, vanishing into the dark. The forbidden forest was not a place for the living. Trees bent like old men, roots writhed like snakes, and shadows watched. But Kwaku was not afraid. He walked until his legs ached, and then a voice called, "You seek the drum, mute boy?" She stepped from behind a tree, hunched with hair like smoke and eyes like midnight. "You will face 3 trials, one to test your courage, one to test your heart, and one to test your silence." Kwaku bowed his head. First came the talking snake. "Why do you not speak, boy?" it hissed. "Is it shame? Is it fear?" Kwaku only played a note on his flute, a sad one. The snake bowed and slithered away. Next came the weeping tree. Its branches wept sap like tears. "Will you carry another sorrow?" it asked. Kwaku laid his hand on the bark and listened, and for hours he stood still, until the tree smiled and let him pass. Finally, a river that flowed backward. To cross, he had to step against time. But Kwaku did not rush. He took off his shoes, stepped gently, and walked through the past. And there, in the heart of the forest, stood a tree shaped like a drum. At its roots lay Abɛn Nyeɛ, wrapped in vines. As Kwaku touched it, the forest held its breath. The drum began to hum. "You have heard the silence of the world. Now, become its voice." When Kwaku returned to Esum, his silence was gone. He did not speak with words. He drummed. Each beat told a story, one of love, one of warning, one of ancestors watching. The crops grew tall, the river flowed sweeter, and Esum danced again. But not all were joyful. One day a wealthy merchant arrived. "I will give you gold for that drum," he said, "more than you'll ever need." Chief Bako hesitated. The village was poor. The offer was tempting. But Kwaku stepped forward. He raised his hands and beat the drum. The skies darkened. The earth shook. The drum split open, and from it rose a spirit of flame. Odomankoma, the creator. "You would sell a soul for silver? You would trade your voice for coin?" The merchant fled. The chief bowed his head. And the people remembered. The next morning, Kwaku was gone. Some say he became a spirit. Others say he watches the forest still, waiting for the next to hear the silence. But whenever the wind blows through the trees of Esum, if you listen closely, you might just hear the talking drum of Odomankoma.